Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's Claritysoft training webinar. Today is Tuesday, September 24th, 2019, and our topic today is building dashboards in Claritysoft. Dashboards in Claritysoft are really what we would also call charts, and there is a dashboards module. That's what we will be working with today. This is part of everybody's database when you get Claritysoft. So everyone is able to build dashboards. And the ones we're going to work on today, we have 3 different ones we're going to build. Sales by sales rep, the top 5 accounts for sales, which will give us the highest sales for the top 5 highest sales amounts for those accounts. And then new leads by lead source. As we work with these different dashboards to create, you can translate what we do into any other module in the database using the same technique. So for example, if you wanted to do opportunities per sales rep for current month or year to date or whatever, then you can just use the opportunities module rather than the sales module. So all of these can be translated into the other modules, the techniques that you're learning today. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get started. So let me switch to my Claritysoft. I'm in the sales module in Claritysoft. And a lot of times what I like to do is I like to go to the module itself and look at the data that's there just to get a general idea of what I should see in my dashboard when I create it. I like to do the same thing before I create reports in Claritysoft. Use the filters up here to pull up a list just to see what I'm going to see so that I know that when I create the report or I create the dashboard, I'm on the right track. So what I want to see are all the sales by sales rep for this year, this current year. Currently, I'm looking at all sales up here. And so what I want to look at is this year. And you could do it per the quarter, the week, whatever you want to do. So this is what you need to decide, which is why it helps to look at the data first to see what you have. So currently, I have for this year, an order date. And you'll notice the order date, most of them are today because I was converting a lot of quotations this morning to be able to create enough records for today. But we have 15 records with a total value of $112,856. And then I can also see my sales reps over here, and I can see which sales reps I have. So if I click here, I'll sort by sales reps. So I have Bill Miller, I have Jacqueline, and I have Susan. So those are the 3 sales reps I should see. And then I will see their amounts, their total amounts. So that gives me a sense of where I'm heading. All right. So I'm going to go over here to the dashboard module. And when you first go into the dashboard module, you will come to a completely blank screen. So your first step here is if you want to see what dashboards already exist in Claritysoft, then you click on the vertical ellipsis button here and go to settings. And this will show you all of the dashboards that are currently in Claritysoft. This same list will also show up when you go to the home module and click on the settings to do the chart indicators. So that's the same list. And what will be nice now, once we create some custom dashboards in the dashboards module, they will be added to this list, which then will become visible in the list in the home module so that you can pull them into your home module there, okay? And in the home module for the chart indicators, you're allowed to pull up a maximum of 4. In the dashboards module, you can pull up a maximum of 8 to have them visible. So just tuck that one into the back of your brain. So I don't want to choose any one of these right now because I want to create a brand new one. But I wanted you to know where you go to find them. So I'm going to click on New Dashboard. And much like the reports module, we have different tabs that we work our way across to set up our chart. And the first tab is the data series, because we first of all have to tell Claritysoft what information needs to be pulled into the chart. So first of all, the data source is going to be one of our modules. So as I said, we're going to use the sales module. Then we have to pick what we want for the value property. The value properties is the y-axis, and the argument properties are is the x-axis. So for our value, we want to choose whether we want a value or a function. Most of the time you want some sort of a function. And then once you select that, you get to choose, well, what function do I want? The sum of something, the count of something, average, maximum, or minimum. We are going to do the sum of. Then you get to choose what data field you're doing the sum of. And in this case, we would have either the subtotal field or the total field. In the sale record, the subtotal represents the amount of the sale, not including any shipping and handling or tax. The total field would include shipping and handling and tax. And since those don't really go into your profit because you're paying somebody else for those, I'm going to pick the subtotal, which will just give us the value of the products, the sale of the products. Then the scale type, you can let Claritysoft auto select what it should do, or you may pick currency or integer, whatever. I'm going to pick currency because this is in dollars. Now my argument property, I select my data field, and what I want this chart to display are the total sales per sales rep. So I want to scroll down. And in the sales module, the field that normally is owner, in all the other modules is sale rep here. It's equivalent to owner. So I'm going to pick sale rep. Hello. My whole computer just locked up, guys. Oh, there it goes. So hold on. Yep, there it goes. And then the scale type on this case, I'm going to leave as auto. And the format, I'm going to leave here as auto. Now, what this allows you to do here, if you have very large numbers, millions of dollars, even billions of dollars, in order to make the numbers smaller, so you don't have these large numbers along your y-axis, then you can put them in to be divided by 1,000 or a million. I'll leave it at auto for now, and then we can come in and change that. And then over here, the ignore empty, if you check that, that just means that if you have a sales rep that hasn't had any sales for the time range that you've selected, then it won't bring it in and show an empty, empty amount. So you can choose that. Now, maybe you want to see that. Now, one thing I noticed this morning when I was working with this is somehow this is displaying very small to start with. It fixes itself later. So normally you get a nice chart over here viewing how it's going to look. So once you get data showing here, that means you've got something that makes sense to the dashboards. Okay, so the next thing is to choose the chart type, and it's defaulting to a bar chart. I could pick a line chart, and I could, pick a pie chart. There, the pie chart is displaying properly, so I could do that if I wanted to. But I'm going to go back to the bar chart. Now it's displaying properly. So I can see my people, and I can see the values over here in thousands with the number, with the currency, so they're in dollars and cents. Okay, and then enable labels here. This when this is turned on, that means that when the chart is actually displaying, the total value per bar will show at the top. I'm going to turn that off temporarily and do it in another chart that we do. And then I'm going to go to the select top 5 records. We're going to do that in the second chart that we do. So we'll come back to that one. So chart title, you want to put a title in. So I'm going to say sales by sale rep or account manager, whatever you call them. And I'm going to put year to date. And then if you want to put a subtitle, you can. And then in the x-axis, you could say, you know, sale rep. And the y-axis could be total sales. And as you type these things in, you'll see them appear over here. Okay. So it's building it. Now remember, when I looked at my sample data, however, it only showed me 3 sales reps, and I'm getting all the sales reps right now. So this is not an accurate representation. It's just showing you what the chart is going to look like. Then the legend is this over here. And in this case, we don't need a legend because all our bars are labeled with the salesperson's name. So that's not necessary. So I'm going to come over here and uncheck enable legend to turn it off. We will use it in another one. And then the tooltip, what the tooltip is, when you turn that on, that means that when you point to one of the bars, the total value of that bar will display. So I'm going to do that in this particular chart. And the text is in a dark color. So the background color, it has dark background colors, but you want to pick something that's light. So I'm going to pick this Alice blue. And then the appearance lets you pick a color palette. So you have different color palettes here that you can select from if you want to do something that's closer to corporate colors or something like that. So why did that not change? There, that one changed. So you can pick a color that suits your fancy for the day. Okay. Drill down. What this means is if you have created a report in the reports module that represents sales by sale rep year to date, then you can attach that report to the chart. Okay. Now there is one here that has been done. So I'm going to attach it. And then what happens when you're looking at the chart, there's a button that you can click on that will then open the report and show you the exact detail for the sales. It will show, you know, whatever you put into the report, like the account name and what the sale was and when the sale was. So I'm going to attach that here. You don't have to have a drill down, but it is nice if you want to have it. And then your data filter, this is allowing you to select if you wanted to have, you know, certain people filtered out or filtering your sales by some other type of category. In this instance, I don't need a data filter because I want to pull all the sales out, but I want to pull them by a time range. And so that is my time filter. And here, I'm going to select that the order date is year to date. So that means anything from January of 2019 to now. And as the months roll forward, we go into October, November, December, the chart will constantly update itself to reflect the sales for the year to date. All right, so I have all my settings done. And then I'm going to come down here and click Save As, and I'm going to give this a name. Once I do that, I now can see my chart in dashboards. So here are my 3 people that I saw in my sales module. I got the right 3 people. My x-axis name is here, my y-axis is here, my numbers are here. And when I point to a column, I get the total amount, okay? So that's what that tooltip is. So it will show you the total amount by pointing to it. So pretty simple, pretty easy to do. Now up here you have, when you click on the chart or point to the chart, you'll notice those buttons show up in the upper left. So I can go off of it, go on it. This is the edit button. This will allow you to delete the chart if you decide you don't want it. This is the drill down to the report. So if I click on this, then I see the detail for each of my people. So it's set up the same time filter, and it's pulling in the order date, most of which are today, the number, the account, subtotal, tax, and total. So this total here should match what the amounts are. These should match what the amounts are in the chart. And once you run the report, if you want to, you can download it to Excel and view it in Excel, which then it will give you those subtotals. And then also the way this is set up in the report, you also can have a chart included in the report. That's probably redundant because we have this attached to the dashboard. But here you can see your total numbers, your total values. We'll zoom this up a little bit so you guys can see it a little better. So we can see we have Bill and Jacqueline and Susan, and we have their amounts here. And then you come down here and you can see the detail for each person. So this Bill has 5 sales with a total of 47,248. Jacqueline has 5 with 38,000, and Susan has 5. Oh, they all didn't put 5. And then the 112,856. So these numbers should match what we're actually seeing in the dashboard. So if I go to 47,248.71, I go back here. To my dashboard, 47,248.71. So my totals do match. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see a mismatch. So that's how that drill down will work if you attach a drill down report. This allows you to print it, and this refreshes it. Now, if you want to edit your dashboard, then you click on this button, and we could go in and make a change if we wanted to make some sort of change to it. So I could, change my data series if I wanted to. I could change my time filter if I wanted to, the title, the type. I can go across here. So for example, I went back to the chart type and I turned on these labels. And then I went to the tooltip and I turned off the tooltip and then did a save. When I get back to my chart, I now see my totals on the top of each bar, which you may want because you may not want to have to float across it. So again, you decide, do I want to see the labels? And, do I see the, do I see the, or do I want to float on it? Do I want to see them all the time? Okay, now you're saying, Robert's asking me his sales in Excel were 54,000. I think you might have been looking at, no, Bill Miller was 47,000. Okay, I think this up here, you're looking at that total. That total, remember, is including the shipping and the sales tax. That's why there's a difference. So the subtotal is, that's maybe a discrepancy in how this report is set up, but this is representing the subtotal field, the sum of the subtotal, okay? That's what was asked for in the report. If we had a sum of the total, we would see 54,000, okay? Good point, though. I'm glad you saw that. I don't always pay attention to those things when I'm doing a webinar, so I'm glad you pointed it out. Okay, so that's one chart that we have. And when I go back over here to settings, you'll now see that the sales by sales rep year to date is in my list of dashboards. So any custom ones that you create are automatically added to this list and then turned on. If I wanted to turn it off, I can uncheck it, but it's now part of my list of dashboards. So let's do the second one. The second one that we want to do is the top 5 accounts that have the accounts that have the top 5 sales amounts. So again, we're going to click on New Dashboard. We're going to pull from the sales module again. And this time, we're going to do a function. The function will be the sum of, and again, we're going to do the subtotal, because we don't want to include shipping and handling and tax. All right. And then the scale type can again be currency. And our data field this time is going to be the account. All right. And we'll let the scale type be auto. And the format here will also be auto. And then we're going to click in our ignore empty. Because, you know, if we have 500 accounts and we haven't sold to all 500 for this year, then we're going to get a bunch of empty ones that we don't want. All right, so we've got our data series information set up. And again, it's doing this little squashy thing up here. I'm not sure why. And then the chart type, we're going to select a bar chart again. We're going to, well, we'll leave enable labels on, but we also want to select this top. And what you're going to do here, you can choose the top 5 records, the top 10, 15, 20. Again, depending on the numbers of sales you have or whatever you're trying to bring in. We'll do the top 5. And so we're going to do the top 5. And then we're going to go to the title and put in okay, and if I wanted to put in the x-axis will be the account name, and this will be the sale. I'll just put sale total. Okay. I'm going to go back here and try and force this back to. Seems if I do a pie chart and then I go back, it fixes itself. There we go. Okay. All right. So the legend, again, we do not need a legend in this instance if we're doing a bar chart because the information is all visible there. We left the labels turned on here, so we're not going to enable the tooltip here. And appearance, again, we can pick a different color if we like. And then this time we won't do a drill down. And the data filter here is, you could do, if you wanted to do this per sales rep, or we could leave it, let's see what we get. And then we can come back to the data filter if we want to do it. So if we go to the time filter, again, we can do order date. Where is it? Right there. And then we can choose what range. Now, I don't know how much you've worked with these time filters in Claritysoft, but they're really kind of nice. You could do, if you wanted to do the top 5 sales for this day, week, month, quarter, year, you could pick that. So like if you wanted to do for the current quarter or the current month, okay? Or if you wanted to look back a bit and do last day would be yesterday, week, month, quarter, year. So last quarter, what were your top 5 sales, okay? Or last year. So you can pick these. Next won't work because that's out in the future. And so, you know, then after 1 day, week, month. So look at these and investigate these time filters, because the great thing about them is once you set the time filter, it just rolls forward with you. So for example, if I chose this quarter, then as soon as it rolls into 4th quarter at the beginning of October, then the chart would completely reset itself and it wouldn't have anything in it until sales started coming in October, November, December, because it will change to the next quarter automatically. You don't have to come in and change it. And that makes it nice because you can create these reports or these dashboards and know they're just going to roll forward with you. So the year-to-date one just rolls forward from month to month and adds them in. So I think this quarter will work. We'll see what we get because we'll do this 1 quarter. And so we've got the time filter and we're going to do a save as. Now, if you click save, what will happen is Claritysoft will save the chart with what you have as the title. Okay. So if what you have as your chart title is good, then you can simply click save and that's how it saves it for you. So it avoids a step. Okay, so now I have this down here. So I have the top 5 account sales for this quarter. Okay, so these are the accounts: Green Bay Winery, Mooney Tunes and Tones, over to Mayberry Construction. And because I put the labels on, I can see what the amounts were for those individual sales per account. So my biggest sale was $18,000 and the smallest of the top 5 was $8,900. Okay. So again, over here now, notice I only have 4 buttons here this time rather than the 5 up here because I did not connect this to a drill down report. So if you don't connect it to a drill down, then that button won't appear here. But if you went to the reports module and created a report there, you can come back here and edit the dashboard and go to the drill down tab and then attach the report. So you can attach the report at any time. All right. So we've got 2 of our 3 charts created. So let's move on to the 3rd one. And this one was going to be leads by lead source. Now I'm going to go to the leads module. And because my leads module is rather, let's say, outdated on new leads in here, if you notice the creation date for the most part, it was last December. And so I don't have varied creation dates here. But what you would probably use this report for, you would probably want to come in and maybe do a report on all the leads that were created in the last 3 months or 6 months or something like that, that then you could see what lead source brought them in, and then that would help you determine what's our best form of advertising. You know, where are leads coming from? What I'm going to do, I'm going to use my working leads because I don't have really good data here. So I'm going to go to my working leads, and I can see that I have 12 working leads. And then you can see what the lead sources are here, because that's what we're going to work with. And so that's what we're going to do. And we won't use anything, you know, any kind of filters really. We're just, other than that the status of the lead is working. Okay. So that should return a count of 12 different lead sources when we get our chart. So I just wanted you to see that before we did it. But you would do it, you know, by creation date perhaps, or whatever, maybe by sales rep. You could do it by sales rep too. So a lot of different ways you can do these. So I'm going to go back to dashboards. And new dashboard. And this time my data source is going to be the leads module. And my value property is going to be the a function. And this time the function is going to be the count of, because I'm trying to count the number of records that have come in, okay? And when you're doing the count of, you could do perhaps the contact name. You could perhaps do the company name, but the problem might be you might have 2 leads for the same company in here, and it's possible you might have 2 contacts with the same name. So one that should be unique would be the email address. So if you're very diligent in having an email in with all of your new leads, then using the email address should give you an accurate count, okay? So that's going to be my value. And then the scale type here can be an integer this time. And our data field then that we want to use is the lead source field. And again, we'll let the scale type be auto, format be auto, and ignore empty in case somebody didn't fill in the lead source. All right. All right, now chart type. This time, instead of a bar chart, what I want to do is a pie chart. So I have this nice brightly colored pie chart, and over here I can see my different lead sources. All right. And if I turn on my labels, then when we get out there, I will see the count of the different lead sources next to each pie piece. And I don't want to do a top 5. So chart title is going to be, and I'm just going to call this working leads because that's what I've done. You would put maybe new leads or the new leads in the last 6 months, something like that. Okay, we don't have an X and a Y axis, so I need that. Legend we absolutely need. Now, we haven't looked at this yet because we haven't used a legend yet. So we want it enabled, and then you have different ways to orient it. So you can have horizontal orientation to have it go that way, or you can have the vertical. Then you can have where is it aligned within the chart, at the top or at the bottom, okay? Then you can also select what horizontal alignment you have. Is it on the right side? Is it on the center, which does not look good? Or is it left? So you can decide where you think you want your legend to be. And then you get to choose, well, do you want some sort of a background color around it? Like if I choose this light blue, it puts a light blue background around my legend. Do you want a border? And then if you want a border, what color do you want it to be? So if I pick, well, let's see, let's click this blue violet. This will make it look kind of crazy. Okay, so you can add, you know, background color if you want to your legend, place it wherever you want around the chart. And then again, the tooltips, if you want to turn those on, maybe we'll hit ourselves twice here with things. And appearance, you can choose the colors. I kind of like these bright colors, so I'm going to leave them. I don't have a drill down report for this. And then the data filter, like I said, I don't want all my leads. I only want the ones who have a status of working, okay? Otherwise, I'm going to get every lead in the database. So I'm going to come here for my standard filter and choose status. And I can leave equal there because it does give me a drop down, and I could choose working. Now you also, if you've put stages in your leads module, if you're using the leads module, you could search by stage and pull it out by stage or a couple of stages. So again, whatever you want to search by, or if you want to see, you know, how many leads a particular sales rep has brought in over a span of time, then you could do not by lead source, but leads by the sale rep and see who's bringing in the most leads. So a lot of ways you can configure this. And then the time filter, I'm not going to use a time filter. Well, let's see. Do I want to use a time filter here? Because since they're working leads, they'd be anything that's working. So I don't need to pick like the creation date or anything like that. Okay. So then I can do, I'll just do a save again. And now I will have my chart. And so you can see the count. So I have 1, 2, see 8, 10, 12. So I have 12 working leads by 12 different lead sources. And if I float over this, I get the numbers with the tooltips. So I did sort of a double here. All right. Now, if we went back to our leads module, we should see 6 pay-per-clicks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's accurate. So it came out the way we wanted it to come out, okay? So I have my 12 working leads, and 6 of them came in pay-per-click. There's one campaign, 2 website, and 1 vendor list, which is what we're getting back in the charts. So you always want to check your data. So we have 2, there's that other, and 1 vendor list, and 2 website, which is correct. So those are all correct. All right. So those are creating 3 dashboards. Now you can leave these here turned on, and then like I said, you can also go to your home module now And by clicking on the settings button, the gear shape button on the left side of the screen, that lets you pick the key indicators, which are these boxes here, and put those in. And these are built in. These you cannot change. So here's top sale this quarter. So that would pull that in, and you may have up to 4. If you try to click on a 5th one, it's going to yell at you. You've reached the maximum. So it won't let you bring in a 5th one, but then you can turn one off to turn on another one. Okay. So your top sale for the quarter was $22,000. All right. And then for the chart indicators, you click back on the settings button and go to chart indicators. And now my new ones that I can turn these off if I want. And then my new ones that I just created. So here's working leads. Here's the top 5 accounts. And here's sales by sales rep year to date. So I can create the charts, and then any custom charts I've created can show up here. Again, the maximum to view is 4 at a time. And you can view them in the tile. This is the vertical format, or if you click this button, then you'll view them in a tile format of 4. So either way you would like to view them, and then you can change back to the list format. And then if you want your people to see only certain charts on the home screen when they first log in, then you can click this share button and then share this layout with other users. And then when that user logs in, that user will see whatever way you've set up this home screen. So you could set up different users with different home screens. Okay. Well, I guess if you change yours, then it would change. So that can be done as well from here. We often get that question. And then the dashboards, each user can set up what they want in their views here. And again, you have tile view so that you could set them up to be side by side, two per column, or list view. And then actions here let you edit a chart or delete a chart, but you just really point to the chart to select it and then go to the edit here or the delete here. Okay. The other way you can delete a chart is to go to the vertical ellipsis button, settings, and then you see a little trash can there. So you can delete that chart that way. So you just want to be careful that you don't accidentally do it. Okay. So that's 3 charts. Hopefully you've got enough information now to go and try it on your own if you haven't done this already, and can come up with some different custom charts for yourself to use in your own Claritysoft database. So I don't see any questions, so we'll go back to our PowerPoint here and go to our final slide. So once again, thanks for attending and listening. If you need any help with any of your dashboards, then you can contact our tech support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com, and they will be very happy to help you. If you are still in Quick Start with Linda or myself, then you can contact one of us, and we will be happy to work with you on setting up some of your dashboards that you would like. And then future topics, comments, critiques, please send those to info@claritysoft.com. We did just send out October's list of webinars, and they are on the website now, so you can go look at that and see what you want to attend. We added a couple of new ones. The activities, I'm going to do an overview of the activities module and just give you some, I guess, hints and tips and tricks on managing your activities in Claritysoft. And then another one, we're going to talk about the document mail merge capability in Claritysoft that probably most of you have. So you can check out those descriptions and see if that's something you want to attend. So we're trying to add new webinars every month or every couple of months to keep everybody interested in learning lots of new things. All right, well then I will let you go and enjoy the rest of your day. And hopefully then we will see you next week for next week's webinar.